Okay, Andrew, it's nice to see you again. It's been about 12 months since we did our betting people interview. And
Yeah.
since then, I've been following your tips successfully. So thank you very much for that. And we've decided to sort of team up, and we're doing this to promote your advisory, Optimum Racing, on the website. So for anybody that's come here interested in finding more about your tip-in service or advisory service, I'm not sure which you like to call it, can you just tell people how long have you been doing it?
Yeah, sure. Well, I started off, it was over 20 years ago now. It was March 99, so 22 years ago this month. And a very low-key start, really. I had no aspirations at that stage. It was all done on the premium rate line and had very few callers, if I'm honest with you. But I built it up gradually, and then by 2001, we went onto a subscription basis, and it's just grown from there, really.
So if somebody decides to, have watched your videos, they've sort of heard about your results and they want to subscribe, what can they expect if they subscribe to your service?
Well, first of all, they'd get access to a daily recorded message, which, as well as giving any bets that we may have on that particular day, we'll also get a full sort of market card preview of any other day, any other races of interest that day, highlighting horses that may not be perhaps quite enough value at the time of the message, but are ones to look out for, highlighting a few negatives, people who want to lay them. And as well as that, we tend to put some of the more important information into a concise text message, which is also sent out to clients in the morning.
Okay, now something I've noticed, you're very selective. You're not for the sort of person that wants a Yankee every day. Can you sort of tell us a little bit about, your selection process?
Yeah, sure. Well, we are selective. We probably average on any given month about 8 or 10 bets. And that's really because, we're looking for a certain edge before we put an account bet out there. And that's to make it sustainable, to ensure that we do, try and, make a profit more often than not. So say we're looking for at least a 20-25% edge. That is to say, the price available with the major firms needs to be at least sort of 20% higher than my tissue price. And if that's the case, if there's a 20% edge, then we go for it. And then that tends to average out, say, 8 or 10 bets per month.
Okay, now if people want to find out more about that, we have done an in-depth betting people interview with you, and the links to that will be here as well. So the question everybody's going to be asking, all right, Andrew Lowrie, if you're so bloody good, why are you selling your tips and not just cashing in yourself?
Yeah, well, it's a fair enough question. But when I started this, way back, it was really as say so much a hobby, but it was very much on a part-time basis. I already run a small company. I didn't know where this was going to go, and at the time I was probably averaging £100 a bet or whatever, way below what you would need to provide a decent living. So having built the tipping service up and run a successful business, to relinquish that just to go solely as a professional punter, I think would have been financial suicide, really. And also, I'm not sure whether I'd be cut out to expect all my income to come from my betting. There's going to be times, to say, when things aren't going well. That brings enough pressure as it is when I'm advising. But it would certainly bring an awful lot more pressure if you were solely relying on that, that income from your betting. To pay the mortgage, feed the family, and everything else. So the two go hand in hand. It's no real extra work, certainly not from the form perspective. I do all the work in the morning or the night before, whether I'm betting for myself or passing on information on to anyone else. So I would say to people, well, if you had a successful business, would you be happy enough to run just the one, or would you run two alongside each other, knowing that you can make both profitable?
Okay, Andrew. So for anybody that's watching this and they're thinking, right, Andrew seems a good guy, knows his stuff. I think I might pull up some of my hard-earned to join his service. What do they really need to understand and know before they join?
Well, first and foremost, probably that we're not the sort of service out there that's going to give out realms of bets per day, 4 or 5 bets a day. We are selective, and there's other information available on the daily message which people can utilize the way they wish, but for it's really for more serious punters, I would say, because we do average 8-10 bets a month. And if they sign up, I would suggest that they treat their betting as a business, and hopefully, watch the profits grow, watch their betting bank grow. And if providing they bet within their means, have a separate betting bank, follow the staking plan, well, hopefully they'll join the 4 or 5% of people in the country that do make it pay. But I must say the staking is crucial. I can tell you a true story about a chap who was with me years ago now. He joined me on the crest of a wave. We were a real purple patch. And I remember him ringing me up on a couple of occasions, saying how well we were doing, how pleased he was with the bets and the service. And that was great. And then we hit a little bit of a rookie period, which is inevitable. And whilst we probably made, I don't know, for example, 30 or 40 points when it was going well, we may have lost a quarter of that when we had a losing months. And the time came around for him to renew his subscription, and he didn't call. So I gave him a ring and asked him, make sure everything was okay, and why hasn't he joined? And basically, he said that he thought the information was so good, and the profits were so good, he couldn't see how he could lose. So from betting from £100 a point, I think he went up to over a monkey and probably beyond that, and did it all back. Didn't renew, had about a year or so away from the service, and in that period missed out on a lot of profit.
Okay, so what sort of what would be an average bet? What pointage would you be looking at?
Well, we use quite a narrow point system, 1 to 2 points per bet. Minimum 1, maximum 2 per bet.
Okay, one thing I would add, Andrew, just to see if you want to elaborate on it, having been following your bets and profiting from them, they're not the sort of bets anyone that's not already restricted, their bets are going to be under the radar for quite a while because they're competitive races. You're not betting snide each ways against odds on shots, that sort of thing. So the sort of races you back in, people are going to be able to stay under the radar if they play their cards right.
Yeah, sure. We're not looking to back, a second in against a 3-on favourite or anything like that. We do look for, in fact, I would suggest on a normal day's race, I will start with the most competitive race of the day. That's where you're more than likely going to find a rick, if there are any ricks. Not so easy to find a big mistake in a 5-6 runner race. In the big field handicaps, where bookmakers are more, probably more willing to lay a decent bet, that's where we'll probably end up having most of our action. Yeah, so anyone that is looking to join up, obviously they have to appreciate we're going to have losing runs as well as winning runs, and sadly, as anyone will know, you don't know when the winning runs are going to occur. The next couple of months might be my best ever, they might be my worst ever. It's impossible to know, but all I can tell you is that having done this for over 20 years, I know that providing you play with an edge and you're backing horses at bigger prices than they should be, that's going to guarantee that you come out on top over a long term. It doesn't guarantee any short-term success, but it will guarantee that you make it pay over a period of time.